The honourable member from Brantford Brent.
Mr. Speaker, after 9 years of NDP Liberals, taxes are up, costs are up, crime is up, time is up, and now corruption is up. GC Strategies, a two-person company working from their basement, started scooping up government contracts like candy just weeks after the Prime Minister took office. $20 million for doing nothing on the failed arrive scam, $100 million in total in government contracts. If that doesn't scream corruption, I don't know what does. Will the Liberals get our money back?
Hear, hear. Yeah.
The Honourable Minister for Public Services and for Public Services.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Vous auriez pu le dire aussi en français, parce que c'est en français.
I'm happy to repeat this in French, because this is something that my colleague has already heard several times in English. It's very good that the Auditor General and the RCMP are independent, and that both of these organizations are doing the work that they are supposed to do, and we will support them in that.
The Honourable Member from Brantford Brent.
Mr. Speaker, the question is in English, but I digress. Liberal corruption is on rinse and repeat. The Auditor General is investigating $100 million in contracts awarded to GC Strategies, a two-person IT company that did no
Order. Colleagues. Order, please. Colleagues, it's very important for us to. I'm going to ask the honourable member to start his question again from the top, but I'll ask the member, please sit down for a second. I'm going to ask. Order, please. Order. I'm going to ask the honourable member to start again, but it's a very important fact. It's a basic fact here that questions can be asked in English or in French, and questions can be answered in English or in French. The honourable member to start from the top, please.
Corruption is on rinse and repeat. The Auditor General is investigating $100 million in contracts awarded to GC Strategies, a two-person IT company that did no IT work on the failed Arrive scam app. The RCMP has already raided the home of GC Strategies founder Christian Firth as part of an ongoing criminal investigation. Will the Liberals cut the corruption and again get the taxpayer its money back?
L'honorable ministre des Services publics et de l'approvisionnement.
Mr. Speaker, what we just heard is an insult to all Francophone members in this House, including Conservative members. Is the member trying to tell me that I don't have a right to speak French in this House?
À l'ordre, s'il vous plaît. Order. Order. The honourable member from St. Albert, Edmonton.
Can you say that in French?
And the honourable member from Alfred Pellan. Order. L'honorable député de Lévis-Lotbinière.
The honourable member for Lévis-Lotbinière. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, the Liberals are continuing to obstruct justice by refusing to produce unredacted documents. Meanwhile, the Liberals were caught red-handed giving a $20 million contract for the development of ArriveCan to the company GC Strategies, which only has 2 employees. That's a pretty darn high hourly rate, at a time when 2 million Canadians are lining up at food banks. Meanwhile, how many Liberal buddies have filled their pockets at the expense of Canadian families?
Le ministre du Service public et l'approvisionnement.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
The Honourable Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to congratulate my colleague for asking his question in French, but he could have asked the question in English because in this House, we are free to speak whichever official language we wish. And I'd like to invite his previous colleague to apologize for having asked me to answer his question in English.
À l'ordre, s'il vous plaît. To the House. The Honourable Minister is rising on a point of order.
Mr. Speaker, je pense que c'est très important.
I think it's really important to note that we saw a lack of respect, a clear lack of respect at this House of Commons to inaudible. Order, please.
Colleagues, the chair, I'll thank the honourable member. If he would like to assume the chair, he's more than welcome. Colleagues, the chair has already made a statement on this matter. During question period, I see that the honourable member from Brantford-Brant would like to rise in this place. The honourable member.
Mr. Speaker, on a point of order, in relation to the introduction of my second question, I made a reference to the question was originally in English. I was unable to hear the minister's response because of commotion in the House. My volume wasn't working correctly on my headpiece. That's why I made the reference. Clearly, I recognize, Mr. Speaker, that every member in this House is entitled to respond and ask questions in both official languages.
I thank the honourable member for reiterating the last point. I think, colleagues, I think this is the honourable member from Brantford-Brant raises a very interesting point, which is that when people are taking the floor, when they're not. I say this to the conversation which is happening right now between the member from Pickering-Uxbridge and the member from Lakelands. You cannot hear what is going on if there is too much ambient noise caused by people speaking out of turn. And this is a very important point. C'est un point.
It's a point that I have raised on several occasions, especially for those who are listening to the debate here in the chamber in the other official language through the interpretation services. It's so important for no one to speak out of turn so everyone can hear and understand what's happening here in the chamber. Point of order, the honourable member for Louisbourg. Mr. Speaker, the member for Brantford-Brant is clearly trying to step away from what he said. We all understood what he was trying to do, and he tried to suggest that that member for Quebec should not answer in French, and now he should apologize. It's inaudible.
The chair has heard enough points on this matter, and we are moving on.